I think when it comes to Fallout 76, Bethesda has a bit of a patch problem. Over the past few months, we've seen several massive updates to this game. They've been progressively fixing some of the major bugs that do plague it, making it so it's in a much more playable state now. They've been progressively adding in new balance changes or quality of life features, making it so it's a lot easier to just enjoy this game. And then especially as of late, we've been seeing the DLC updates. New quests, new events to complete with your friends, and this isn't the end. We still have a full month left of these, and there's a lot to look forward to. Yet even though so many of these updates bring so much good to this game, it seems like they're not all good, and there's a common theme among almost all of the updates to Fallout 76, and that's a few minor steps backwards. On several occasions now, we've seen an update ship out, and even though a bunch of stuff is fixed, we also might get the reintroduction of an older bug that was already patched but now has reappeared, or even the breaking of new in-game mechanics. Now don't get me wrong, overall these updates are still a step forward, a net positive for the game, but it feels like, at least to me, that it's almost bittersweet. You see the new update posted, the servers go live, you get in game to start trying out either some of the new content or some of the new features added in, but then as you do start playing, you notice, oh, one or two things aren't working as intended, or maybe something got broken along the way. Most of the time, none of this is game breaking or game changing, but just a little frustration that I feel like doesn't have to be there. And before anyone starts saying that I'm just conjuring this up or trying to make something out of nothing, here are a couple of examples of this in action. On January 29th, we saw a patch that added in a much needed weight limit to this game, so dupers could no longer add to their characters and have millions upon millions of carry weight. Unfortunately, with that patch, when you got the disease radworms, it seems like it would give all of your mutations a 50% bonus, making your character just much more powerful. But when the disease wore off, or if you cured it, then all of your mutations would suddenly stop working, and you'd have to exit the game and re-enter it, and then sometimes even that didn't fully fix it. A bit more recently, on March 13th, Fallout 76's first DLC came out. We got the Wasted on Nukashine quest, adding in a very well made and interesting character, but also some new crafting tables for you to take advantage of. Unfortunately, to go along with that, we also saw that food, drinks, and flux actually spoil way faster now. It seems as if this was connected to fast traveling, server hopping, or even the fermenter's condition bar in some way, but the main takeaway was you're going to find a lot of spoiled food in your inventory and you probably won't get a chance to eat it. This change occurred roughly 1 month ago and we still really haven't seen a fix to it. And then finally, just this past week on April 9th, we saw the big new questline getting added. The biggest content drop in Fallout 76 thus far, yet unfortunately we got bugs like you could no longer attach weapon or armor mods to weapons or armor. And for some items, that's the only way you could ever get that attachment. We saw other things like now, even though they fixed one of the long-standing bugs with plasma weapons, as you go to fire it, it spurts out one bullet and then just kind of abruptly stops and you have to start firing again. And then of course, just some other things like the friends list now being totally out of order, or even for a subset of the community, myself included, you get massive stuttering after this latest update. And these are just a few of the examples. If you search on any of the major Fallout 76 forums for something like patch broke, you could find hundreds, if not thousands, of results. It's almost turned into a meme of people saying, hey, what do you think's gonna break with this one? Now in fairness, I don't think the meme of for every one step forward, there's 2 steps back holds true with these. Some of these definitely are annoying and frustrating, but to say the entire update is not an improvement on the game is simply untrue. It's typically a lot of good changes with a couple of bad ones. Although for me at least, one of the more frustrating components of these bugs is the lack of hotfixing. Over the course of the past few months, Bethesda has released the occasional hotfix, but very rarely are these done in a timely manner. Take for example that food spoilage bug. It's been a full month and that still is an issue with this game. Or even one of the more recent ones like the inability to attach weapon and armor mods. One of the community managers said they're shooting to have a fix out with the next update, which means that would have been an issue for a full week. Maybe I'm spoiled by certain other online games, but I feel like with a lot of them, that's one of those things that you would see patched in the first 48 hours of that update being live. I think Fallout 76 has had a real long-withstanding issue of updates adding in new bugs or reintroducing old ones, but even further, Bethesda seems oftentimes really reluctant to hotfix these unless it is a truly game-breaking issue. And this all kind of brings me to the point of asking why, or even how. To me at least, a lot of this just feels like it's reflective of the need for more QA testing in these updates. Take for example, inspecting or modifying a weapon in a repair table. If you just click the inspect key on this item, all the stats will disappear from the side of it. That inspect key was just added in with this update. You would think that'd be something they would test in game, and if they did, wouldn't they have seen the issue? Come tomorrow, Fallout 76 will be 5 months old, and over those 5 months, these updates and then minor issues or new bugs being introduced with updates will have been a pretty common occurrence all throughout the game's lifespan. The real purpose of me making this video is hopefully so we can not see this be an issue over the next 5 months or the next year. To me at least, this has really felt like one of those issues that just won't go away, a minor nuisance in the game that should have been resolved already. I'm not sure if it's just a basic manpower issue, if maybe Bethesda's QA team is not large enough, but even still, I feel like there are several solutions to this. Many people have suggested, hey, just put up a test server. Give certain users the ability to beta test future updates, find some of those bugs, and send them over to you. Or even alternatively, just delay some of the updates to do further testing, or do both of these things. I think a big chunk of the community is totally fine with waiting an extra week to get an update that is bug-free versus one that has a couple of bugs added in with it. We've seen several delays over the past couple of weeks with various Wild Appalachia content, and most people react positively, saying, yeah, I'd rather see this delayed and work on release than have it be buggy on release. Overall, I don't want the takeaway from this video to be Fallout 76 bad, don't play the game. As I mentioned, many of these bugs or glitches are fairly minor. It's not totally shaping the experience. But to me at least, it just feels like the persistence of them is something that shouldn't be here in a $60 AAA game that is 5 months old. It seems like one of those things that can be removed or prevented in the future, and that's something I would really like to see. And hopefully this video serves at least somewhat to push things or nudge things in that direction. Either way, that's pretty much going to wrap it up for this one. As always, again, I thank you all for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. But with that, I hope to see you all next time. Later.